listening to The Metro on 101.9 WDET. I'm Kerry Jr. II. Nearly 50 years ago, residents of the Cass Corridor neighborhood protested Wayne State's plan to demolish historic buildings in the area. That act of resistance gave birth to the Dally in the Alley festival we know so well today. The festival has been the major end-of-summer event in the Cass Corridor since that time, and the tradition continues this weekend. Joining me now to discuss this tradition is Adriel Thornton. He's an event producer, activist, and the president of the North Cass Community Union. Adriel, welcome to the Metro.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Love the show, actually.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And we love Dally here. We're big fans of Dally here. Well, I guess I should speak for myself. I can't speak for everyone at the station. I love Dally here. Just for folks who aren't as familiar with what Dally in the Alley is, just give me a really brief description of what people would expect.
Sure. So Dally is the best way I describe it is that it's like it's a block party on steroids.
A block party on steroids.
It really is it's a community celebration. The North Cass Community Union was sort of formed to produce Dally, and it really is about uplifting and celebrating the North Cass community, right? So we stay true to that, but it's multi-blocks. So it generally is from really from Prentice to Warren now, and third, which is Anthony Wayne Drive, to Cass. That's generally the layout of it, and you're gonna find at least 5 entertainment areas with all kinds of music. I mean, all genres of music. You're going to find some of the most delicious food vendors that I think the city has to offer, and you're going to find non-food vendors. So I mean, almost anything you could think of that is from crafts to clothing to types of things. At over 100 vendors that we'll have, and you'll also find things like a kids fair. You'll find our community stage presenting a lot of different acts, and you'll find our art, really basically our art gallery, where we'll have live artists actually producing visual arts, like painting painting right there on the spot for folks. And
that's always a treat.
That is always a treat.
To be able to see the artistic craft happen in person.
Yeah, it was really popular on our art chairs. Evan conjured and
I've actually have a quick side question.
Oh, okay.
Will there be folk, and this is kind of gimmicky for like carnival, so this may be too cliche for Dally. People who draw caricatures. I've always kind of wanted to get one of those, but I never pulled the trigger on it. Is that ever at Dally? Random question. That gives us a no.
I am sure that there has been and probably will be at some point.
You sit down and you model for them, and then they.
I am sure that if one of our artists decided to do that you could get it done. I don't think there's a specific.
Sure. Well, one of the things that I think makes this festival really special is how it came to be, really. And before we get into the actual history of Dally, really briefly, I want to talk about the organization you had, the North Cass Community Union, which hosts Dally. Talk about the work you all do for the Cass Corridor, because Dally is one of other things.
Well, it's the primary thing that we do, right? So the other thing, let me just say this: that number one, we're all volunteers.
Yeah.
And it is a very committed crew of folks who just like me love the Dally, and they love this area, and so throughout the year. We really spend a lot of time planning
this.
Right. And when we are able to make it happen, i.e. when we've got enough funding after Dally, we then find a project to do in the neighborhood or fund another organization that's doing something. So, I mean, we've done work in some of the alleys there. We've improved lighting. Those types of things, and that's the kind of thing that we like to continue to do. I mean, things that we can, that generally would improve the look and feel of the area.
So one thing I want to get a little clarification on is how the festival itself came to be. I know that at the time in the 70s when the festival was what came to be, Wayne State had plans to demolish some historic buildings in the area. But what does the festival have to do with that? How did it come out of that situation?
Well, I was not there.
Right.
But the reality is that, there was, the university was going to tear down some homes. I mean, some buildings, and there were a couple of people, a couple of hippies, some drag queens, and some other folks that lived in the neighborhood who got together in the alley and literally brought out a guitar and a barbecue pit, and that was a sort of their point of resistance. And if you go to our website, actually under documentary, there is a short documentary that kind of goes through this entire thing and really visually highlights what it's about. But the thing is that, it was, I would say that, and I'm kind of speaking for the people who were there and who did it, that the reason why there was a next one, right, the next year, was because this was an opportunity for the neighbors and people who knew each other in the neighborhood to actually get together, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why things continue from those types of things really at the end of the day. And so I think that is what has really been the basis for Dally continuing on, mm-hmm. right? Way past that point. I know that for myself and quite a few of, our current crew, their parents were actually, well, my parent wasn't, but I went there all of us went there as children for the most part, right? But quite
to Dally,
yeah. But quite a few of our crew are, really, their parents were part of the Dally committee, way back in the day, right?
Yeah.
So for some folks, it's a legacy, right?
Wow.
But I think I would say for all of us that it really is, again, it's a love of this neighborhood. When the first Dally that I remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, my mom said I went there as a kid, but the first one I really remember.
You don't have to say the year.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't anyway. But the first time I remember, it was because I was living on the alley,
like you walked outside.
And I mean, it was like,
Yeah.
I mean, we knew it was coming, but it was, you couldn't sleep the night before because it literally is on the, where they built the alley stage at.
Yeah.
That was my parking lot. So there was no escaping Dally, and, it really was, just something we looked forward to every year.
What's cool about that, because you talk about it now, and I'm sure back then, is that lot is in the backyard of a lot of homes like yours, and there are some homes with like balconies, and mm-hmm. they can just sit out on the porch and just like chill out and just watch Dally happen.
Yeah,
like that is like so cool that it's so immersed in the neighborhood itself.
It really is, and I think that the people in the neighborhood really, I think they might look forward to it more than we do.
Even the noise in the store, I feel like the noise would make me
crazy, right? Well, the thing is, you've got to like learn to live with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, it's once a year, and I think that people do use it as an excuse to, there are folks who do like they do an annual Dally brunch for themselves and their friends, or mm-hmm. they have family members come down, and so they make a celebration out of it, right? Mm-hmm. And it truly is Dally Day, right? Yeah. So I think that the Dally committee, we joke amongst ourselves a lot of times and say that if we weren't the ones producing this, that Dally would still happen.
Wow,
right?
It's so powered by folks.
It's so powered
to come together.
Yeah, it's so powered by the community that if we didn't do it, I would be willing to bet everything I have that. If we didn't produce it next year, that you would come down there on the Saturday after Labor Day, and there would be some band would be playing in somebody's garage. There'll be a DJ on one of the balconies. There will be people. There'll be some vendors. People will Dally on, mm-hmm. right, regardless. And so I think that makes it really important. That shows, let me say, that how important it is for the community. And again, that is one of the reasons why the Dally committee, really, really deserves a lot of credit for doing this for free, but also just making sure that they, that people understand that they do this for them. We really do it for the community.
You're listening to The Metro on 101.9 WDET. I'm Kerry Jr. II. My guest is Adriel Thornton. He's the president of the North Cass Community Union, and the organization hosts Dally in the Alley Festival, which takes place this weekend in the Cass Corridor from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. So, Adriel, to that point, volunteers, you talk about the fact that even if you weren't together, coming together, hosted a party, even people would still do it anyway.
Right.
What is it like, I guess, over these years to be doing it? Well, I guess I want to know, how many years have you been?
I think it's been like 13 or 14. Yeah, something like that.
And so you've seen some of the same people show up year after year, including yourself, of course, and put this festival on. Talk about like what that's like. Are you building like almost a family in some way?
We actually say we're a Delhi family, right?
Okay.
And I mean, it's just like any family,
I got it. Thanksgiving dinners can be tense.
Right. But I think it's, any tenseness or anything like that it's because everybody's so passionate.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody wants to do this. And again, we're all doing this for free. So, really, our personalities, I think people know each other for the most part really well at this point. And so even if there's some flare-ups, which is inevitable, at the end of the day, they all get resolved. But for the most part, it's really smooth sailing. And I think that the people, that's one of the beautiful things, too, that makes Delhi not hard to do, is that it's almost turnkey at this point.
Okay.
So,
happens.
I mean, Patrick has been doing beer for as long as I can remember. Andy has been doing the website and logistics, and Janelle's been doing food for so long, and Dirkus has been doing art. I mean, there's so many people who've been doing the same thing for so long that you don't even think about you don't really think about like what they're like that you don't worry about it being done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Know, they know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. They know what to do. They got it. They got it. Right. So,
well, I have a question. If everything's volunteer based, how do you pay the vendors?
Right. So,
the festival itself is free. You can just walk in, so there's no tickets.
Right. Well, it's free of charge.
Right.
But it is not free. Right. So, Delhi, historically, and as it continues to be, the majority of our revenue comes from beer sales, from beverage sales, which is why it's really important to, if you come to Delhi and you really want to support it, buy a beer or two, right? That is really our primary revenue stream. And, not every single year, but most years, we're able to make enough to produce Delhi, to pay for that Delhi and to make Delhi happen the next year.
Wow.
Right? So that is really, I mean, again, the primary revenue stream is that.
Beer sales.
Is beer sales. Yeah, there are some, nominal revenue from things like vendor fees and things like that. But for the merch sales, that's important too. But we've started something new, which seemed to work last year really well, which is donations.
Okay.
So you can go to DallyInTheAlley.com and you'll see a donate button there. Actually, on site, you'll see QR codes or buckets where you can donate. That really is really helpful, and it's a mechanism for people in the community to be able to support Delhi without necessarily having to buy 8 beers.
Now, you've spoken a lot about Delhi, and yes, Alley is in the name, but it's grown. It's gotten really big. It's a staple of the Cass Corridor area. And maybe I'm answering my own question, but I'm curious why is it so important to have it there? If it's getting big, why not get a larger place? Maybe a Hart Plaza. Maybe there's another park. Maybe a Belle Isle Festival. Is there ever thoughts of like moving it?
Right. I mean, that's a really good question, right? I mean, it is organically grown from just that alley to,
the streets beyond
it.
Yeah.
And then like now it's a couple of blocks past that. Well, there's one of the most important reasons for why not move it is, one, it's authentic where it is, right? It's authentically a neighborhood celebration. It would not be the same if it were, I think, moved somewhere else. And the other thing is that there are other members of that community that really, really depend on Delhi happening. And those are the small businesses that are around there, right? So, you've got a variety of businesses, some convenience stores, you've got some clothing stores around there, you've got restaurants, cafes, you've got all these things that are either in our footprint or adjacent to our footprint, right? But you could arguably say that, most of things between Cass and Warren, between Warren and Mac at the least, right? Really, really, really depend on Dally Day as being as a cash infusion, right? So taking that out of that area is not just about, we're going to move it to a place where we have more space for people to come. That's really not kind of the point. It's really being able to do all the things that we do. And, the people who come are the people who live there.
Right.
Who knows if that would actually happen if we moved it to somewhere else.
Would they travel to another location?
Yeah, would they travel to another location? And then if we did that, then we're actually doing it not for that community, but just for the sake of having an event.
Right.
And that's really not what Dally is. I don't think any of us are interested in doing a festival or a street fair just for the sake of doing one. It's got to support that community.
All right. Well, Adriel Thornton is an event producer, activist, and the president of the North Cass Community Union. Adriel, thanks for joining me on the Metro and talking about Dally with me.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Yes.
All right.
All right, that's going to do it for the Metro today, folks. The show is produced by Sam Corey, myself, and Jack Philbrandt. It's hosted by Robin Vincent and Tia Graham. Our engineer is Nate Bender. Music is by Sam Bobian. And our senior producer is David Lyons. The Metro is a production of WDET, a listener-supported service of Wayne State University. This is WDET-FM, Detroit Public Radio, your connection to news, music, and conversation. See you tomorrow.